I don't know who needs to hear this, but doom scrolling is real, okay? And sometimes we'll wrap it into a pretty little ideal of, well, I'm just looking for motivation. Well, I just need to be inspired. Well, I'm just trying to see how to do X, Y, and Z. But all that scrolling that you're doing is taking away from your real life, okay? It's taking away from the great ideas that you already have. And a lot of times it's forcing you to compare yourself to others. And most of the people that you're comparing yourself to, you never even had a conversation with. For those of you guys who are new to my channel, hello, my name is Jasmine, and I'm so glad to have you. And in this video, I just want to talk to you guys about things that have changed in my own personal life as I stopped doom scrolling, okay? And I know some people might be confused. How do you run an online business if you're not on social media? So I do get on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube to upload my content, absolutely, and Facebook and Threads and Twitter. But I no longer sit there and scroll through. Now what I do is, as my video is uploading, I'll allow myself to watch the 1 or 2 reels that automatically pops up on my feed as my video is posting. But then once my video is posted, I get off. And I didn't even realize that I was doom scrolling. I used to look at it as looking for motivation, getting new ideas and inspiration, right? Especially when I started my coaching business in 2025. I was like, well, I'm new to this business. This isn't something I've done before, right? And I'm like, well, let me see how other people run their online coaching businesses so I can get a better understanding of what I should be doing with mine, right? And so I'm finding all of these coaches online. This is particularly for Instagram and TikTok. YouTube, I don't really have this problem. YouTube, to me, I feel like is a completely different experience than Instagram and YouTube, or excuse me, Instagram and TikTok, because YouTube is long form content. So you're able to listen to someone's entire perspective within a 20-minute video or so, right? But on Instagram and TikTok, I would find myself scrolling, trying to find, online coaches and just trying to figure out what to post, how to post, things like that. I was looking at it as motivation. I noticed the more that I was scrolling, one, the algorithm recognizes that that's what you're into, so it's going to show you more of that, right? Because they want to keep you on the app. But I started slowly noticing that they're posting more and more screenshots of how much they were making, of how short period of time it took them to make this, their luxury lifestyle, the vacations that they took, the merchandise that they're able to purchase. And it's just creating this comparison loop inside of myself. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, sure, I've been only coaching for a short period of time, but I've been an entrepreneur now full time for 6 years. Why am I not making $100,000 a month? I've been on Instagram for 6 years. Why don't I have 10 million followers? Well, I've been doing this for this amount of time. Why don't I have this? I started to compare myself, and I started to feel like I wasn't good enough. And it didn't happen overnight. I noticed that it took weeks and weeks and weeks, and I started to feel like, well, what I'm doing isn't going to work, or I'm not good enough to make $100,000 a month because they've only been doing their business for 2 days and they're making 50,000, and I've been doing it for 6 years and I haven't even made 50,000 a month yet. I started to really look down on myself because I was so focused on what other people were doing. I decided to stop. I got to a point where it was doing more harm than good for me, and I decided to stop scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. And since doing that, I have not been doom scrolling now since the beginning of the year. That was one of my resolutions, was to stop watching other people's lives and to focus on my own. And in making this video, we're in June. So it's been 6 months of not doing that. And let me tell you how much peace I've gained since stopping scrolling, how much gratification I've gained since stopping scrolling, how much confidence I've built since stopping scrolling. Now, because I'm not so busy focused on what other people are doing with their online coaching businesses, it's allowed me to focus more on my own. It's allowed me to recognize that I do have skills, I do have talent, and the right audience will find me. It allowed me to realize that a lot of times what you see on TikTok and Instagram and possibly YouTube as well is not really the whole picture. I noticed that on those particular apps, it's about showing people this luxury life because that's what people on those apps want to see. People don't want to see the downs of entrepreneurship or just anything, right? People want to see luxury, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it creates this unrealistic ideology that these people's lives that we're looking at is all good. And if your life is not all good, if you have ups and downs, it's going to make you feel like something is wrong with you because you don't see ups and downs in their life. Social media is a highlight reel. It's people showing you their best moments, their richest moments, their most accomplished moments. It's not showing you all of the nights where they were crying or all of the months where they may have been broke as hell and they didn't know how they were going to feed their family. It doesn't show you that. So you start to feel like they don't experience that. And if you experience that, it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you because they're not, or so you think they're not. Since getting off of social media, I have become more grateful of the life that I live. I've started to recognize that I live a very blessed life. And even if I haven't made $100,000 a month yet, I'm still doing really good. The 6 years of work that I've put in, it is showing. I see it. I'm able to pay my bills off of my business, but I couldn't realize that before. I couldn't see the beauty in that before because I was comparing myself to other people. I started to get more clear on what kind of brand I want to build for myself. See, at first, I was trying to build my brand based off of what I saw other people doing and what was working. And since I saw they were posting luxury, I felt like I had to post luxury, but I can't afford luxury at this moment. So then I felt like, well, then this isn't going to work for me because I can't afford a G-Wagon. I can't afford to go to Cabo. I can't afford to go to Dubai. I can't afford a Chanel bag. I can't afford these things. So how am I going to be able to coach people? Because that's what I'm seeing on Instagram, right? Well, since getting off of there, I recognize that I don't need any of that in order to teach people how to make money online. I got more clear on the direction that I want to go for my business. I started to build my own confidence because now I'm not focused on other people's view counts. I'm focused on my own. And so I see the progress of my own view count. My videos went from 0 viewers to 10 viewers, from 10 viewers to 50 viewers. So I'm starting to see the progress that I couldn't see before because I was so focused on other people. I'm not going to sit here and say that social media is bad. I don't think social media is bad. I think social media can be a tool to help you get better in whatever it is you're trying to get better in, right? I still enjoy YouTube. But I will say that if you're not careful, the motivation that you're looking for can slowly start to turn into subtle comparisons because you're so focused on looking for motivation that you start seeing other people's lives or what they portray to be their life, and you start comparing it to your life. And then now, because you're so focused on other people's lives, you can't even see the beauty in your own life. And then that's where there's danger. That's where things can get toxic. That's where things can get depressing. And a lot of times these creators that you're following, or at least for myself that I was following, well, the algorithm only showed me their videos because that video went viral. So I'm only seeing them and where they are today. I didn't know who they were 10 years ago when they were first starting and they didn't have any viewers or they didn't have any money or any motion. I didn't know who they were. That's the problem. That's the problem. You don't see the whole process. And so you start to believe that they didn't have a process. You start to believe that they just started this last week and now they're making all of this money. And here you are, you've been doing this for years upon years upon years, and you're not even making a fraction of that. That's the problem. I think that if you're not careful, social media will make you feel like you're less than. It'll make you feel like there's something wrong with you and your life because you're not living this person's life. But this person's life that you're looking at, we forget, is a highlight reel. You don't know what's going on when they stop recording the video. You don't know. Everyone has good moments in life, everyone has bad moments in life. But you're not going to see those bad moments because that's not what people want to see on social media in the first place. So no one's going to sit around and record that. People are going to record what they know you want to see. And the algorithm is going to push what's going to keep you on that app for longer. Since stopping scrolling, I've become a lot more comfortable with who I am. I've also recognized that I will attract the right audience. A lot of times we will accept other people's projections. So projections is just how other people see the world. Everyone's projecting, okay? Everyone is projecting. Anytime someone gives you an opinion, it's a projection. Anytime someone gives you, advice, most of the time it's some type of projection. And it's not bad, okay? But everyone is projecting, right? Well, one of the things that I noticed was happening, it's like when you watch one thing, the algorithm shows you another thing, and another thing, another thing, another thing. And the next thing you know, your whole feed is a certain opinion about a particular thing, right? Well, my online business is OnlyFans. And when I first started it, yes, no one agreed with it, at least in my own personal life. Like, no one agreed with it. Everyone thought it was stupid. Why are you doing that? Da, 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 da. Whatever. That they're allowed to feel that way. And so when I got into coaching last year, I was like, okay, I need to find other online coaches so I can see like what to do, things to say, what to post, just trying to get motivation. And I started getting into more content where people were talking down on OnlyFans and saying things like, that's not a real business, that's a cheat code, that's an easy route, right? And so one thing I started noticing I was doing was I was taking in those projections as truth. Even though I know that OnlyFans is a real business, I file real business taxes, I have a S Corp, I have a business account, like I know these things. But I'm starting to accept other people's projections and what they think about OnlyFans. These are content creators, what they think of OnlyFans and how bad it is. And so I started feeling like, well, maybe I can't share the fact that I do OnlyFans with my audience because I don't want my audience to think that I don't know what I'm doing or that I'm not good enough or that I can't run an online business. These are all just projections that I'm taking in. And so then therefore I'm starting to try to hide it. And I'm not really being transparent about the fact that I do OnlyFans. But once I got off of social media and I stopped taking in those projections, I started getting back to what I thought, which is OnlyFans is a business, right? And I run a business just like everybody else online. But I only started to become more comfortable with that when I stopped scrolling and listening to what other people thought was true or false about what I do. And there's so much peace in that. It became so much more freeing, and it started to allow me to recognize what direction I want to take my coaching business in. I can teach people how to create content. I can teach people how to grow an audience. I can teach people how to sell subscriptions. I can teach people how to make money online. And I don't have to be ashamed of the online business that I chose to start 6 years ago because someone on the internet told me that I should be. You would be surprised at how many people's projections you take in and accept as truth. And you'll realize once you snap out of it, these weren't even thoughts that I had. These were someone else's thoughts that I heard over and over and over again. And I started to believe that it was true, even if it's not true. And again, people are allowed to have their opinions. But just because that's their opinion doesn't mean that has to be yours. But these algorithms want to keep you on there for as long as possible. So it's going to feed you more and more and more and more of what you watched. And so if you're watching videos of people making X amount of dollars or people having a certain perspective on something, it's going to show you more and more and more and more of that. And the next thing you know, you believe that this is true because that's all you're seeing on your feed, because that's all Instagram wants you to see, because Instagram is trying to keep you on there. But that doesn't mean it's true. That's just what it's showing you. And when you get out of that loop, when you put the phone down, you can return to your own thoughts. You can return to your own life, and you can start to see things from your perspective, not someone else's. There's peace in that. There's clarity in that. You'll start to come up with new ideas. And again, this is what I've experienced since no longer doom scrolling. You start to come up with your own ideas. You start to see what works best for you. You start to build an audience around who you are, not who you're trying to be like other people. And since doing that, I've had so much more fun creating these videos. I've felt so much more authentic and comfortable with who I am and what I do. And it's been a beautiful experience. I'm no longer comparing my income to someone else's on the internet. I no longer feel like I'm less than or I'm not qualified or capable to do X, Y, and Z because I'm not listening to what other people have to say. I'm focused on Jasmine. I'm staying in my own lane, doing my own thing, building my own brand. So if you find yourself feeling less than, if you find yourself feeling miserable, depressed, insecure, you would be surprised how a lot of that has to do with what you're looking at on social media. And again, I'm not sitting here telling you that social media is bad. It's not bad. I love YouTube. For me, YouTube is a totally different experience. I never felt that way on YouTube. I never got those feelings on YouTube. It was only coming from Instagram and TikTok for me. I do listen to YouTube more passively. So my TV is always on YouTube throughout the day. But it's not something I'm actively watching. It's something that I might be listening to while I'm editing. Right now I have lo-fi playing while I'm recording these videos. It's just a totally different experience for me on YouTube. I love YouTube. But when it came to Instagram and TikTok, I definitely felt that way. And since removing myself from those apps, only posting and then getting off, I've really just started to become more at peace with what I'm building. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I can't wait to read what you have to say. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And do not forget to join the Patreon. The link is down below in my description. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.